Hello everyone, and welcome back to our weekly training on business development and the pie of real estate, looking at new homes, resale, and distressed properties, and increasing our services and how we service our clients, increasing our skills on how we service our clients, increasing our knowledge and how we bring things to our clients and deliver information to our clients. Last week we talked about the 80-20 rule, just focusing on the things that are important and how 20% of what we truly do equals 80% of the results. And if you want to watch that video, you can click below and definitely watch that video on the training that we did last week. The thought of the day: find people who will teach you something. It's interesting, every time you go anywhere in the industry, whether you visit a doctor or visit your dentist, or if you visit your accountant, whoever you visit in the professional industry, it is very important that you and I focus on those people who are teachable. Meaning there's a doctor who will just diagnose you, tell you what your problem is, but will not give you a further understanding of what truly is happening with you. But you want to find those doctors and those professionals who have a teachable attitude, meaning they're willing to teach you. Why? Because that is how you cross-train. You find those people who are willing to share information with you, whether you in particular or other people, and you're able to feed that information, because then that gives us the opportunity to make the right decisions in whatever field we're in. In real estate, you should become very teachable to your clients, meaning that you should you should look at your clients as students in the space of real estate. And how would you teach them about the process of buying, of the process of selling, a process if they're in distress, a process in resale, a process between buying and selling. So you should be in that teachable mode, because that is very attractive. If you look at marketing or even YouTube or other channels, you see that education is a huge aspect and contributor to just the amount of content that's truly out there. And we as humans, we're constantly learning. We're learning every day. When we walk, when we ride, when we talk in business, we're constantly learning something new. And it's amazing that throughout all the age groups, people are constantly learning something. It was amazing to see when smartphones came out, and then people were of older age were given a smartphone. And it was interesting to see how those people were able to learn apps and everything that had to do with that phone. What that really showed myself is that people are always learning. They're always observing and they're always learning. So become that person who is teaching in the space of real estate. And that's why we teach. That's why we have Powered by Ground training, because we believe that everybody teaches everyone along the way of their career path. And the more you learn in the fields of new homes, resale, and distressed, the more information you have, the more information you can teach your clients about this space. And the training for today, and again, this series is more on the entrepreneurial side, we call it the E2P, the entrepreneurial to the purposeful. And this is very important, because all of us start in a default state. All of us start in a default state when we enter business. When we enter the entrepreneurial status, we always rely on our strengths. Those are the strong pillars of our business. So if you come from accounting and you decide to be an entrepreneur, guess what? Numbers is going to be your strength. If you come from sales and you become an entrepreneur, well, guess what? Sales is going to be your strength. If you are a data analysis or data analytic, and you looked at a lot of data and lead flow, then when you turn into an entrepreneur, lead flow would be really your strength. When I had people who were engineers or like detail-oriented things and then move into being an entrepreneur, well, guess what? Then they're focusing on the details of everything that takes place in entrepreneurship. And that's really important, that all of us have natural ability, strengths. If you're a social person, well, guess what? Networking is going to be the thing for you. I call them the social butterflies, right? This is just their natural thing. They just like to talk to people naturally. They can show up and talk to anybody, any random person. Well, networking is their strength. That is their strength pillar that they're going to rely on to build their business as an entrepreneur. So all of us, if you're tech savvy, guess what? Social media is probably, in maybe online marketing, is going to be your thing to develop because you got tech understanding, you understand how people interact with technology, how people engage, and then if you engage with people inside the social platforms, there's opportunity for growth. So all of us come from a space of an E, entrepreneurial. All of us have organic strongholds. But the P, why it says 2P, that means if you want to grow more, you have to start to conquer territories in areas that are not your comfort zone. You have to move into sectors that are really not your strengths. For example, accounting was never my strength. But being an entrepreneur, moving to the P, I understood that I need to find somebody who will teach me, going back to our thought of the day, who will teach me accounting, teach me numbers, teach me number flow, formulas, and so forth. So it's important that somewhere along our business as entrepreneurs, we say, yes, I will cross this bridge into P, into purposeful, being very purposeful on how I'm going to build out my business. And what you find in very successful business owners or entrepreneurs, that eventually they come out of their comfort zone and they learn how to gain more territory. They learn how to, or we call them, wear many hats, whether it's lead flow, whether it's data, whether it's marketing, whether it's accounting and finance and debt and leveraging and management people and then services. When you look at people who've been in the business and come out of there, creating vision to, big picture, to all the way to the details of things of life and business, you see how these people have moved from being organic to moving to a purposeful, meaning they are grabbing so many more territories in which they are studying and learning different spaces of how things work. How do you get there? How do you bridge from here to here? The first thing is coaching. All of us need to have a coach. A coach is somebody who looks at us from the side or another perspective and looks at us and says, you know what? This and this and this needs to be done. And a coach is there who is there to observe us at real time. They're assessing, they're looking, they're observing, they're taking data points, they're understanding that this is your strengths and these are your weaknesses that you need to bridge yourself in. They're telling us, you know what, this is your weakness and I feel like you need to spend some time growing in that space. Coaching is very needed in our development as entrepreneurs. Whether you're watching this channel or 5 other channels, what are you really doing? You're being coached while being coached by others. And this is very important that we spend money on coaching. Not once in my career path as an entrepreneur, I paid money for coaching. Then there's consulting. Consulting is not as heavy lifting as is coaching, because coach is somebody who's there with more consistency inside your life and inside your business and so forth. But you have consultants. Those are people who you pay maybe a lot of money and they come in and consult on behalf of maybe a project or a financial decision. But these are consultants that you are willing to pay, usually one time, that help you bridge from here to here. Whether you have a legal issue and you need a great attorney, you're going to pay consulting money because, I don't go through lawsuits every day, but attorneys do. So I would want to sit down and consult what's the best way to manage this or this problem or this circumstance. And then training. All of us need accountability so we can train. So we can train and keep training and keep training. And often how I do it, so for example, if I like in entrepreneurship, I look at finance or leveraging or management, what I would do is I would just train in that space until, how we say in the gym, you'd gain some weight or muscle or strength. So I would train in that particular space until I feel I have gained strength in that space. So again, if it's wealth management or wealth creation or debt or leveraging debt or whatever, I'll take that space and maybe for like 4 or 5 months, I would commit myself exclusively to that space, and I would train and I would train and I would train exclusively in that topic. When we talk about new homes, resale, and distress, the reason we talk about it, because there's a season we trained. We trained in new homes. We trained in resale. We trained in distress. We learned the markets, how markets cycle, how markets flow, the amount of people in the market, who are contributing to the market share, and so forth. So we must learn how to move from our organic position to being purposeful. And that is usually where the breakthroughs happen. If you look at life, we all hit a ceiling. In your organic growth, you will hit a ceiling on how much you can rely. Rely on your organic strengths. But at some time in your entrepreneurship career, you will have to become purposeful. You will have to coach, you would have to hire consultants, and you will have to train if you want to move beyond the space of your organic growth. But for some, they love where they're at, they make enough money, they like what they do, and they stay in this entrepreneurial position and they sit there. They don't go up or down. But it is so important that if you want to scale, if you want to grow, if you want to push your limits, you have to transition to being purposeful in your entrepreneurial career.